Hey y'all, this is Matt, and I'm gonna try playing a game on ISC and doing some commentary, and we'll just see how this goes. I'm gonna be playing Kevin Bowerman. He's a pretty strong player, rated around 1600 right now, and he's working his way up pretty quickly. He won the National School Scrabble Championship, I think, a year or two ago, and was on Jimmy Kimmel, the whole jazz. So right now I've got this wreck, and I got the lovely WUO combination. So I'm probably getting rid of at least two of those tiles next turn. I'm glad I'm not going first because I don't know what I'd play. Probably would. I'm trying to think of possible tiles he could give me that would make this wreck playable. An L would be pretty nice. I could play wood, WOULD, as opposed to WUD. That'd be nice. There's the L, but it's not where I want it, but that's much better, because I can bingo with whiteouts now. That was a complete bailout of that wreck. Wow. I know I've got this wreck. It's going to score a lot of points next turn, probably with that HK combination. I do tend to get really lucky when I play Kevin. I'm 3-0 against him in tournaments, and I think every game was just almost laughable how well I drew. And I seem to have his number online as well, but I don't believe in those random coincidences of I'm your daddy because I'm way better than you, but you're somebody else's daddy. Don't seem to have very many decent overlaps, at least not that I'm noticing. But again, Kevin is most likely going to play there, and he did. That leaves me with the decision here. Wrecks like this tend to be tricky because you kind of want to play off the HK together and hold something like ANS or AINS and try and bingo, but if you do that, if you don't pull the bingo next turn, you're not going to score a lot of points. Don't see any H plays down here. KHI is a horrible play. I don't want to make that. I am just not seeing very many plays right now. Yeah, something along here's gotta be best. Shank. I don't like that leaf particularly well. There could be a 5 down here that I don't know. I don't know a lot of words. Knish is 26. That's pretty terrible. Might also not be a word. I'm not certain. It'd be nice if I had a 5 up through this, but I'm not seeing one. Just a tough position for me. I'm just not seeing options. Shaw is really defensive, aside from, if he's going to bingo here. I don't think I give that much back. A play down here is going to give me either a 10 play or an 8 play, so I'm not worried about that. Keeps a decent balance of vowels and consonants, although I don't really want to keep that O. I just can't see anything else to do. I'll play it. Now I've got Yankees. That's not a word, but that's my rec. I don't know if this were clabbers. I have Ankylos, but Pokey's a pretty strong play for me if it's a word. Pretty sure it is. Don't see any possible 8s I can hit in this rack, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. We'll see what Kevin gives me. Kevin took my spot, but he gave me a really nice overlap play of yolks. I'm gonna spend about 2 more seconds before I play this, because that's, well, hang on. Yikes could potentially be a better play, because it lets me keep the O to overlap in this spot next turn. There's already, what, 4, 5 O's out. Yeah, I like yikes better. Let's do it. Let's see if I can pull a big O play. I've got the ZO, but this is not a Collins game, and I do not have a big play in that spot. And Kevin does. Wow, he had one of the O's. So that backfired, but I still think it was a pretty good decision. That happens. Got really weak plays down here to knock out the triple, but I don't know why I do that. Todd or ton or something along those lines. There's surely a better option available. Ritz is a pretty awful play right now, so I don't think I should do that either. This is one of those positions where I feel like I'm missing something incredibly obvious. Any play down here is not too good. It's going to be nice and defensive. I'm pretty sure Shat doesn't have a hook. So that'll close this board off really effectively. I don't think I've got quite a big enough lead to do that, especially with the 40-point spot I'm creating here. Keep thinking here. Tot, it's pretty weak. I do prefer playing Kevin closed to open because I feel like Kevin is very capable of making equity style plays that Quackle would make, and that doesn't bode well on a closed board. I also like playing closed boards because I think they're more fun. I'm not certain that Shat doesn't have any back hooks, but I just don't really think it takes one. So there's no way it takes an E. I'm like 90% sure it doesn't take an S. I never like making a hook that I don't know, but I think I'm certain enough to justify making a defensive play like this. Now I've just got to decide what T word I'm making down here. Trot. That's much better than Torch, obviously, because I give up this hotspot. Well, let's think about that. Because Trot gives up big plays here pretty easily. Tort gives up plays here, but if he makes any play here, I've got potential to hit right back. Triton is pretty terrible. That takes the back E. I can't do that. I'm going to run I'll think about this a little more. It's a complete toss-up in my head right now between these two. And maybe there's another T word that I'm not even seeing right now. Toit is just not as good as the other plays. R and Z is not a kind of leave I want to keep right now. I'm trying to think about things that either of these plays could do for my Z. And the Z's not going to go here again. This isn't Collins, so I don't have ZO available. If Kevin makes a play here, I don't think my odds of overlapping on this side are too high. With this leave, I'd have to pull a tile to go there. But this spot is just much better. You know what? I'm going to play Tort. No, because I don't know the back hooks to Tort. I'm going to play Trot because I don't know the back hooks to Tort. And that is why you need to know words to be a top player. Kevin has about the worst possible thing he could have for me there, a giant J play for 60 points. So that didn't pan out at all. Of course, it was my own fault for making that play. I'm sure it was a bad play. And this is what happens when you make bad plays. Initially, I see join for 22. It gets rid of one of those I's. It keeps the Z to score in the future, although this board is pretty bad for Z's. Just not seeing much else. Nazi's not going to fit anywhere. Zincs is pretty bad. It holds 3 vowels and 2 I's. And a joint is going to open this board up. Again, now I don't even have a lead, so it doesn't matter really if I open the board up, aside from stylistic. You know, I don't like playing Kevin open. Antic holds 3 I's. I can't do that at all. Iotic is a pretty decent play, actually. Oh, and that holds Zinc for next turn. That's actually a really nice play. I'm sold. Again, I've got Zinc available next turn like I knew I would. Not seeing much else that I've pulled this turn. Don't see anything here. FP, I've just never liked Fs, and I don't think it goes well with that P either. It's just not very good for this board, not very good for ever, really. One thing that worries me is this S is open, and it looks like there's no real reason to close it. A play here is only going to be 18 points, so we're getting into one of those bingo, whoever bingos first in this spot is going to be a big favorite to win this game situations. And I don't like those situations, but I'm not going to be able to justify killing that S. So I guess I better draw a bingo pretty quick. It doesn't seem completely unlike Kevin to hold this Z, or hold this S off of Java. He's giving up 33 points this turn, but it sets up a really interesting position for me, and I know Kevin, especially online, likes to mess around like that. So I'm kind of glad he put it down, because I wouldn't have really had a great closing option. Could have partially done something about the threat, but definitely not taken it out. I just don't see any options but Zinc. I'm going to go ahead and cash that in for 45. And I really hope Kevin doesn't bingo. There's 2 blanks out. I'm starting to get worried about bingos. Plus a play like BI from Kevin really doesn't. It kind of screams that I'm going to bingo next turn. But it looks like he picked up consonants and he's not going to bingo. Definitely got to clean up at least one of these R's. I do have a tendency to close things a little more than I should. I know that's true. Want to knock out this Nombril spot and as much as I can in the process. Rolf will do that, but it scores 14 points, and I've just got to do better than that. If I can score enough points this turn, I don't really care if Kevin bingos because I'll have such a big lead, and it'll be my turn after the bingo that I'll be fine. Drawing a Y would be really nice for OK and Gene. There's going to be a lot of points to be scored here. Getting one of those blanks would be really nice. I kind of want to start turning over tiles and in efforts to get some of that. There's also just a bunch of E's that I'd like to tap into. But I can't find a word here that's going to play a bunch except maybe portal. And that, I hate the F. I hate the F way more than anybody else around my rating does. It's always been my least favorite tile. I mean, obviously, like, the W is worse, but I'm getting kind of low on time here. I might just rush into a decision. I really can't play Portal, but I will. I got another R, and a U, and a G. And that makes for a pretty poor rack. I got Prang up here for 27. It holds FRU, which I'm not crazy about. I don't like the F, especially not with that U, but leave is pretty important here because of this S. But bingos won't go unless I can bingo right here. Still, those are pretty friendly lines. I'd really like to pick up one of those blanks. I still want to play off tiles unless Kevin telegraphs one to me or plays one this turn. I don't see a big F play here. Yep, I don't think I'm hitting that spot. I don't think I can get rid of the U up here in any way. I don't think I've got an extension from the J-O. Jour would be a good Collins play, but I think that's a Collins word. I don't play Collins at all, but Kevin's taking this long, which makes me think he doesn't have a bingo. Kevin usually bingos pretty quickly. There's some players who telegraph whether or not they have. Oh wow, he had the blank. So what does this mean for him to play a blank for 40? Does that mean he has a second one, or does that mean he had a bunch of consonants and a blank? I'm not really sure, and I don't really think I have the time to think too hard about what the answer is. This is such a bad play. I'm really running out of time. It sets up the X that I don't have. But I just can't find a way to get points on this board. I'm really starting to run out of time. Can't find an F through here. I'm going to play Frugs. I pulled the X. That's lucky. That's expert play right there. Oh, if Kevin doesn't block that spot, I'm starting to look in a decent shape. Although he can still bingo. Like, bombing the X doesn't mean I'm going to win this game, but wow, what a pull. So I've got the impending X for 52, unless Kevin does something about it. He may think I was setting it up. I wasn't, but still don't think I have a J extension that isn't. Well, I don't think I have any of them actually. If he blocks that X-bomb, I'm not sitting in a great shape. I guess I've still got a X here for 31. I would much rather have those extra points. Still really like that Y. Still really want a blank, although Kevin did just play one of them off, so there's only one left. Sport is not overly conducive to bingos, but these three lines here are still moderately worrisome, especially this one here, especially with one I unseen and a bunch of E's unseen. Yeah, Kevin bingoing would not be good for me, but if I can get this X bomb, I may be able to live one anyway. Don't bingo, Kevin. I don't want you to. Unless Kevin opens up a big spot, I'm going to make my next play very quickly and try and preserve this clock. I feel like if there's not a bingo in this game, an end game could be quite likely, and I do want to save as much time as I can for that. Kevin's a really strong end game player, and I'm gonna need to think this one through. Please don't block that X bomb. He didn't. I'm gonna play it, and I got another U. Oh, this pool keeps looking nicer and nicer aside from this Q, and the Y is going to go right here, so it doesn't really matter if he pulls that. Oh, this is not looking good. This is now by far the most conducive spot on the board. I need to get rid of it with the pool. With my lead, I'm going to win probably unless Kevin bingos. I've got to come up with the most defensive block. I do not have any defensive tiles on my rack, but a play like FEU is going to make it pretty tough for Kevin to bingo, though QADI after that is awful. Alright, Kevin's fishing. Kevin's not going to fish if he's got the Q. If he pulled it on that draw, I'm in a pretty terrible shape if he can hit Cotty. But I don't have a play over here. Farina is really bad. It gives him bingo. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna play FEU and just hope he doesn't hit that Q. An S bingo here would still be bad, but it's not terribly likely. Alright, I've pulled Uranism. Pretty sure that's a word. Like 96% sure that's a word. Doesn't fit, obviously, because I've been blocking up the board all game. But if Kevin tries to make an aggressive opening move, then that could be it. So, and I did pick up that I, the last I, so Cotty is much less likely now. He's going to need the blank and the Q and the D to do it. And yeah, I'm just not that worried about that. If Kevin plays YE here, that's fine. It's not going to be easy for him to bingo. Yeah. So I can dodge a bingo this turn, and Kevin makes an aggressive opening that I can't bingo in. I'm in a bad shape, but things are starting to look good. If anybody really highly rated watches this game, I'd love some feedback on the trot turn in particular. I'd like to hear what other people would have done. Maybe I missed a really obvious play. I did have the Z there, but I'd like to hear what some people think. I'm trying to figure out my identity as, am I a defensive player, an offensive player, and I've heard different things from different people, so I'd like to hear how other highly rated players think and compare my plays to theirs. If Kevin strings an E out for me, I can hit aneurysm. That would be really nice, but I don't foresee. I need the E like right here, and Kevin's not going to do that. Oh, he almost did, but he didn't. All right. Don't think I've got a bingo through that D. Kevin's play actually confuses me. He could have played YE right here. Maybe he oversaw it. Maybe he's chock full of consonants and he wanted to play off an extra one. Maybe the blank is unseen to him. I can't really think about what that play means right now. I'm kind of short on time, so Mira is pretty weak. Well, no, there's no tile Kevin can play here to hit me back. It scores enough. Maybe I want to keep my U in case I pull the Q. That seems pretty likely. I don't think Kevin had the Q last turn very often. It'll also be nice if I can knock out this A, so maybe I can make a play through this D. Even something like Mines, it doesn't seem like a strong play, but if I keep that U, what can I do with the Q? Aqua is a weak play, but it's a play. Souk is a play. QUE. I pick up an E, I'd have queer. I'm going to run with this. I think I'll be in a decent position. It also doesn't... Oh, I'd like to play a word one space longer and knock out this A just in case Kevin pulls a bingo from the A, but I'm really running out of time. Radium. Do I want to keep that S? I think I do. I will. Alright. I'm pretty sure I'm going to win this game. Kevin has Quell, but it seems like a non-consideration. I'll still win. Unless I really mess something up. He might challenge Radium even. That seems like something Kevin would do. He challenges any word he's even remotely unsure of if it means he's going to lose the game. So even if he's 99% sure that Radium is a word, he would challenge it. What options do I have? I've got 51 seconds to play this end game. I mean, scent is a word, but potentially, yeah, I'm probably going to eat the C if I do that. And Kevin, well, cat is a play. I think that's the only one I've got. Yeah, I'd like to get rid of that C if I can. We'll see what Kevin does. If he plays Quell, I'll just play Celts over here. Yeah, this was a pretty enjoyable game. I'm glad Kevin didn't get that bingo when I brought up that this was probably going to be a bingo or die situation, and I'm happy I pulled the X and was able to eke it out. This is a very different game if I don't luck box into that X bomb, and yeah. Quill, and I'll respond with Celts, and hopefully that's enough to do it. Kevin's got AP blank, and he needs 35 points from it. He's not going to get it. I hope. Especially with 10 seconds on his clock. I'll challenge that just because I can, and there's the game. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully I upload this game, and if there's anything you'd like to hear, anything you liked, anything you didn't like, any suggestions, just let me know. Thanks for watching. Hopefully there are more of these.